Guys, let me just share that I changed some things around. I prepared a little bit more than I normally do. I just wanted to add a little bit more value. And then I was looking back at some previous notes and then other things I had down. And I'm excited about this. We're going to go over module 6 and 7. And again, as I've shared before, you just want to make a habit of doing something in your business every day. And it's okay to take a day or two off, okay? The important thing is consistency. So on module 6, we're going to be discussing how to deploy that contract with precision, because that offer is going to be executed correctly, isn't it? This is why I titled it Sealing the Path, which is that black letter ritual of acquisitions. This is that moment that I think most people break. And let me maybe word that a little bit differently, or maybe the same way. Up to this point, everything that you've done has been preparation, hasn't it? You've researched without getting lost. You gathered intel without chasing noise. You calculated value without emotional attachment. And so now you've reached the moment where most people hesitate. And it's not because they don't know what to do. I think it's not because you don't know what to do. But what I've noticed, at least I noticed it with me, is that action makes things real. So I'm just being very real with you, which is probably why it was a little bit challenging for me to say that sentence. Because, let me reword that again for you. Once you reach that moment, it is then natural to hesitate. So let me word it this way. It is very natural. And for me, it wasn't because I didn't know what I was doing. As I look back, I think it was simply because the actions is what makes it real. And I then realized that this is now that point where you then start asking for permission. And that's what I did. That was my own insecurities. And the other thing is, I wanted to maybe double check one more thing, is what I would say. And that fear really disguised itself as caution. And then what I want to teach all of you to do is for you to know exactly where to move and when to move. Because what you're going to notice is that in this business of land acquisitions, deals are not discussed into existence. They're initiated. So I want you to look at this training being more about that initiation. In the Fifth Avenue Underground Club, we don't negotiate hypotheticals. We deploy documents. A mailed offer plus a contract is now no longer a suggestion. It is a structured invitation to transfer an asset. And once that invitation is sent, I noticed for myself, it was like my psychology shifted within myself, because I was now no longer someone interested. I'm now that buyer of record. And what you're going to notice is that just that framing alone is going to separate the professionals from everyone else. I want you to think on this logically, guys. If it was some kind of a sloppy letter, then what are you going to direct? Or you're going to attract somebody that's sloppy. But a clean letter is going to attract someone that is ready, that wants to get this done. So the line that really matters is this: thank you for responding to our letter regarding your property in blank county. That line is going to do three things at once. It acknowledges their action, it creates micro commitment, and it frames this as a response. So psychologically, They're already in motion. I now want to move on to what I like to refer to as the contract, because this is where real leverage plays. We're going to move to the document that actually controls the deal. The contract is not paperwork. It's leverage coded in legal language. So your contract needs to include the date, seller's name, property address, APN, legal description, and the net purchase price. And then comes the clauses that are going to really matter. Clause 1 is the $50 deposit. The deposit is not symbolic. It simply establishes enforceability. It's held with your attorney, not the seller. So it's going to cost you almost nothing. And it's going to give the contract what I refer to as teeth. Most investors, I've noticed they skip this. I've also noticed that most investors, they lose contracts that they think were solid, but you're not going to. Now, let me move on to clause 3, what I call determination rights. This is the most important sentence in the entire contract. It is your unilateral right to walk away if you need to. That way you take zero risk and you maintain total optionality. That way you're going to signal, I want to repeat this back to you. I want you to have zero downside risk, but I want you to maintain total optionality, as I mentioned, because what you're doing is this way your signal is not going to trap you. This way you can move fast without fear. Let me move on to clause 4. That's what I refer to as assignment. This clause is going to give you flexibility. It's going to allow you to market the deal. It allows you to position it and transfer the rights downstream. This is what's going to separate land buyers from capital engineers. The truth that most people don't want to hear is that if you spend 30 minutes on a property, you're not going to scale. You should do 3 to 5 minutes per deal, fast offers, weekly mailing cycles. You can move quickly on 50 deals so that you can move carefully on the 3 that matter. Time is capital. And then velocity, you'll notice, is leverage. You run the offer calculator, insert numbers in the cover letter, insert numbers into the contract, print, sign, mail. And then you're simply going to repeat every week. This is not creative work. This is not operational rhythm. Rhythm builds pipelines. Pipelines, I've noticed, builds fortunes. This is the difference between whether your business becomes theoretical. Contracts come in, negotiations come in. Decisions matter. You're no longer preparing. You are now operating. Welcome to the phase where momentum is now unavoidable.